Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. It's Malachai time today. In order to prepare for that, I've done a little bit of farming in Dried Lake and I got bored of that. Then I moved over to the Grand Arena and comes Stronghold. Reason for these two areas is they're level 56 areas. You can get a level 56 base axe there. And there's the level 57 base sword that drops that has a chance to bleed. I haven't been able to find the sword I was looking for. And I actually managed to find a level 57 base axe that had even more damage than I was looking for. So the level 57 base sword is the upgrade to the small sword. It's the courtesan sword and has a 10% chance to cause bleeding. Which of course is better than 8%. Because more bleeding means more damage and more explosions and all the good stuff. But this sword is still okay. This axe, however, is quite a bit better. It does pretty good damage. The 10% increase attack speed roll on top is pretty nice, and just the built-in physical and cold damage are pretty darn sweet. And I managed to roll it with 2 blue and a green sockets, so now we have a Blasphemy with Temporal Chains and Enfeeble. We have a dual curse setup. That means I had to drop Herald of Ash, but the damage increase from the axe was actually enough to compensate for the loss of Herald of Axe, so currently we're doing 2200 DPS. And because I dropped Herald of Ash, I've added Molten Shell to the setup. And I've slowly begun to level up cast my damage taken. By default at level 1 it triggers every 500 damage that you take. I'm now targeting about 1/3 of my life, so that's gonna be roughly 800 points for me. So currently it's hit 660, so I'm gonna make it level 4, makes it require level 44, and then I'll just sync up all the requirements and be done with that. Also, my armor and evasion was starting to feel a little bit low, because we've been running around with the tabula rasa for the entire time. And I figured if I'm gonna go after Malachai, and after that if we're gonna go after Izaro, I don't feel comfortable running around with the tabula anymore. Might be able to pull it off, but I just didn't feel comfortable with only like 20% armor reduction and 35% chance to evade. So I traded for a pretty decent armor. So this one, it came with only 2 sockets on it, and I used the Prophecy to 5-link it. And the things I looked for was just a base armor that had armor and evasion, that had life on it, and that had chaos resistance on it, because I'm trying to actually get positive chaos resistance in Merciless for a change. Those were the things I was aiming for. The other resists, they were just nice bonuses, and this one had a prefix available for crafting, so I put extra armor on it. And this is just what you can get from Kaum at level 4. At level 7 Kaum you can actually craft even better armor, but he's only at level 5, so I couldn't get that. That also means I had to drop 1 link, and I dropped poison. So we're technically not toxic, we're just bleeding, only poison is out. We'll add that back later via the skill tree, or whenever we get a 6th link, but poison wasn't doing too much for us yet, because we were not strongly focusing on it. So our DPS is just what you get. So let's kill ourselves an end boss. One of the other reasons I went for another armor is that I wanted an extra source of life, because I was about 2200. With the armor we're almost at 2500, and I was aiming for 2500 at Malachai. It's just a nice round number, and if you combine that with estimated 35% damage reduction from armor and 40% evasion, then you got better defensive numbers. The armor, we can crank it up, of course, with our granite flask. That's gonna help us a little bit. We got the silver flask for consecrated grounds. That's gonna be 4% of our life regenerated per second as just a defensive measure. Taken to using a basalt flask, which gives us 20% physical damage reduction. So that's, you could almost think of it as a secondary source of fortify. Ooh, Rogue Exile, I like it. It's almost like a secondary source of fortify. Yeah, I die. And that should just help us out. It also reflects 20% of the physical damage that we take in melee back to the attacker, which is just a nice bonus. Oh, wow! That's Rot Gut. Extra movement speed. It uses a lot of charges. Let's see, chance to get a charge when you crit something. Even more movement speed. Consumes frenzy charges and again onslaught. Well, let's not. Not for this build. Not using a Quicksilver flask anyway. I'd rather focus on some more defensive flasks than something that just helps you with more damage. So in terms of the skill tree, I have started going towards the starter node of the Marauder for the armor and life nodes there. And once we hit the next level, which we will definitely do before Malachai, just gonna pick up another one of those nodes, and that should push us over 2500 life. And it's gonna push our armor slightly higher as well. So castman damage taken and Immortal Call are both about to level. We just do it once, and if you do this one as well, they will stay in sync. And this is now 725. So if we note 3 times that, then that's going to be 2175. So we're still below 1/3. So that's decent enough. Enfeeble has been out of the running for a while, so it's slightly lower level than Temporal Change. As a result, it's going to level quite a couple times faster. But it also has a slightly smaller range. But Enfeeble Blasphemy is a really nice defensive formation. Since enemies will be slower and they will be hitting less often and they will be doing less damage when they do hit. And they're less prone to crit, and when they do crit, the crits are gonna be weaker. So if you're an enemy, that combination just blows. If you're not an enemy, it's pretty nice to have a little bit of safety built in. As always with the aura skills, you want to have the highest range possible for it. Let's pick that one up. And therefore you just want it to be max level, or as close to max level as possible. I'm still using just quality 0 gems that I found. I don't really have a lot of currency to trade, and I felt it would be more prudent to focus on gear upgrades when I need them rather than gem upgrades. But when we get to later Merciless, looking for gems with quality on them for the curses, definitely useful, since I believe that makes them quite a bit more powerful. And leveling gems in an offhand weapon is always an option to get them to a reasonably useful level, while you don't actually actively have to use them or downgrade your gear. Because all gems in your offhand weapon, or as in the secondary tab there, they do gain experience. Next up is going to be Piety. That's going to be fun. And then after we defeat Malachai, Zaro is going to be on the list. And running the Labyrinth. It's going to be interesting. I might even just want to make it to the next difficulty and maybe just to town and just maybe run around a little bit there just to get a bit more experience, a couple more levels. Because Zaro is it's tricky to run. This build is surprisingly sturdy and does quite some damage, but then again, Zaro is quite sturdy and damaging as well. And I believe my previous character did die to him having a fair amount of life. So I definitely don't want to make that mistake twice. And we do unlock our generation of endurance charges and frenzy charges with the next tier, or with the next tier in the labyrinth. Yeah, we've been waiting for it for 60 levels. Another level or two is not gonna kill us. Bowels of the Beast, hello, Piety. Okay. Just running after this, not getting hit. Still not getting hit, that's good. Oh, she's gonna run again. Ugh. And we're just backstabbing her. Piety is surprisingly doable if she never actually lays a hand on you. Still, I'm not looking forward too much to Merciless Piety, as I know that's Bane on a whole nother new level. Oh. That excluded. So far it's going pretty darn well. I mean, mobs are still exploding from the bleeding we inflict, which is no, Herald of Ash explosions are nice for spreading damage, but mobs exploding for 10% of their maximum life is gonna hit more than the overkill damage from Herald of Ash, especially since we are using two. We're dual wielding, so one-handed weapons always deal less damage than the big two-hander. We're not critting too much either, so no, the kill damage is it's not gonna break the bank. So it was something nice when we got started, but it's not something mandatory. Not for this build. Hello there, Piety. Okay, so we just picked up one armor, that means we can just move on. So we currently have about 23% chaos resistance. That means the dude over here, Inquisitor Malachai, his poison damage is not gonna get amplified, it's actually gonna get reduced for a change. Even though normal and cruel difficulty, Malachai is pretty much a pushover. It's merciless, but he's just really insane if you don't have proper chaos resistance. That is probably the main reason the main lesson I have learned from my Frostbolt Vortex character. Oh, Chevron is here today. They're always randomized with where they are. But chaos resistance, you have to deal with it. Whatever she's doing, you have to deal with it as well. I mean, just a whole bunch of spiked elemental damage still hurts like a truck. And with the exception of the elemental resistance flasks that push your resistances over the cap, you're not gonna be able to just quickly drink another flask. Like with physical damage, you have multiple ways to deal with it, especially if physical damage is applied via attacks. Let's just quickly port back. I mean, if the attacks come in, then you have your Jade Flask for Evasion, you have your Granite Flask for Armour, you have the Basalt Flask for physical damage reduction, you can even use a Smoke Flask. Ooh, Quartz and Swords. Yeah. Wait, that's only 8% as well? Oh yeah, it was 8 and then 10 or 12 on the final one. Also 190 dex, that's slightly more than I can afford. But that is the sword I am looking for, and currently it pushes the stat requirements up a little bit. That's good to have. I might be lucky again to roll something with just lower stat requirements. Alternatively, I just need to roll some more decks on my gear. Ooh, hey, Chromatic Orb dropped. Go, go, Golem. It did punch the thing that dropped it, so credit to the Golem where credit is due. You are actually a named one. Let's get some totem support in. Also, we gained a level, so this one is what we're going for. We're already over 2500 just because we leveled up. But another 50 health and a little bit more armor, never a problem. Hey, Druidic Dark Tongue, you are a potential triple cursor. Well, guess what? I'm double cursing. That's almost as good as you are. Doesn't really sound like a good taunt though. I'm almost as good as you are. Well, that's usually if you're taunting someone, and then you really should come across a bit more certain than that. But yeah, I tend to be pretty factual. I'm not pretty good at taunting, you might already notice. So let's just leave that out. Next up, Malachai. 16%. So this is a level 57 area. This is a pretty decent area for farming the courtesan swords. But since I wanted to do this while recording, of course I couldn't really do it. Duelist strongbox. We can get some jewels, but I'm not gonna waste an alk on it. Then we'll just do the usual thing. Put a totem in the middle. Just look at that explosion. That was nice. Clock belt, tape belt, leather belts. Oh, leather belt, put an alk on it. Might turn out to be pretty decent. On the other hand, trading for belts is also pretty doable. Since there's a good chance someone else rolled a pretty decent belt that you want. And it's not gonna cost you too much. Once we are in Muscles, just gonna do a quick revision of my gear just to double check my resists, things like that. We will start out with a slight penalty to chaos resistance in Merciless. I mean, we're at plus 23, but we're gonna lose another 40 points. That means we're gonna be at negative 17, which is a heck of a lot better than negative 60, that's for sure. The other resists will also, well, they'll be positive, but they're gonna be more in the 50 odd range, 60 odd, 50 odd range, yeah. Okay, Malachai, hello there. Yeah, have a totem. Just keep putting the totem down since it does hurt him quite a bit. He's mostly chaos based, so my regen flask is the best I can do. Also, that will make me do more damage. Pushes me up to 2700. It might be useful to stick to that. And that was the warm up. So might as well just empty our pockets. Anything useful? Not the good base type, not a good base type. Oh, not the good base type, so that's easy. And all the other things are gonna be sorted through later. Of course, those organs are not. Those we're gonna hand in. Here, Piety. Let's resummon our golem. And then Black Core O'Clock. This will be fun. Hello, yes, here, have a totem. Okay. Slash through her. Yep. Put up a regen. Okay, I don't want to be standing there. Let's just... Okay. Gone already. That's good. Resummon our golem. Oh, that's his very, very well telegraphed smash attack. Usually they spend a lot of effort telegraphing the attack. You don't want to get hit by it. So that's the reason why you don't really want to stand below him, since it's really hard to see attacks like that if they are overhead swings. Well, from here it's a lot easier to see what's happening. Wait, maybe I should attack Piety. No, maybe crazy idea. Just having so much fun smashing him that I didn't even notice that he was not taking any more damage. On the other hand, if that's the way I stand in the fight, then things aren't going too terribly wrong. So, Malachai. Hello, not buddy. Oh. Okay, port in, totemize, another totem. Just standing slightly off to the side here. Okay, he's got a first heart up, that's good. Okay. Would rather you get away from me. Yeah, that's good. Totem down, we go here. Smash this. This is pretty brutal for the hearts. Okay, smash through, portal down. Portal boosts our damage output by a little bit. It's a more modifier, 40%. So, well, it does make a difference. So especially if you also have our other flask up, the sulfur flask. Kept forgetting his name. Okay, that's the sound of a second portal. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's refresh our golem since it's getting a little frayed. Okay. Okay. Oh, from here, just sulfur flask. It's a nice damage boost in combination with the totem. Okay. Yeah. In terms of damage output, we're doing really well. Still the life leech lifestyle. It takes some getting used to, and the damage output, I think I tanked something there I shouldn't have, but I did manage to make it through. But at some point he's stacking so many things. There's going to be no mines, there's going to be attacks, there's going to be those swirly cloud of doom things. Okay, where are you? Over there. Oh, yeah, teleporting back. That means I'll teleport on top of you. Ah, we got him. That is further than we have gotten with our Frosty Caster. Merciless has been unlocked. Finally. So then it's time to have a quick chat with Ojun, walk over there, and then do the Twilight Strand on Merciless. Yes, hello there, Dying Exile. Long time no see. So we're 61 now. The Cruel Labyrinth is 55, so we're currently 6 levels over leveled. A good target for doing the Labyrinth is the more the better. I think people said that wait like till 10 levels over leveled. Definitely doesn't feel inappropriate. You'll be getting less experience, obviously, because you're the more over leveled you are, the less XP you get. Wow, we're even 5 levels over leveled for this area. Hello there, Hillock. It's good that he's being distracted by the tower. Oh, let's see. So, cast when damage taken, 44. Immortal Call, 44. This one we can level 1 more time. Just gonna make it slightly better. You get more armor from it, and especially because armor is of course amplified, it just gets better. It's amplified by all our +2 armor bonuses. So that's gonna be nice. So I think next episode we're just gonna do the labyrinth. That's yeah, feels about right. Hello there, Navali. Let's refresh some things. Pools of wealth. Encounter and slay golden elementals deep in the cavern of anger. That's good, that we already know a bit. A master seeks help. Vegan, that's always interesting. Forgotten garrison, that's gonna be the broken bridge. Wow, that's Act 3. Is it? Area with large packs of insects. Sure. And Plague Maw 5 in the crystal veins. Interesting. Never got the 5th of that chain. That's nice. Well, but that's gonna be it for now. So I'm gonna thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.